Well, good weekend, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your weekend edition of your financial market wrap-up, where we'll look at weekly charts, and this is Sunday, the 28th of December, 2025. I wanted to wait for the opening. I thought metals might explode. Take a look at silver. By the way, it's down $1 off its high, and we're only into the first 3 or 4 minutes of trading. It has been up over $5 an ounce. Copper's exploding. Platinum. So the metal markets, nothing's changing. They are just on a tear. Anyone short is probably getting margin calls galore in the marketplace. We're seeing that the stock market rally, at least in the early part of the evening, is taking off again, going up for those highs. So I'm quite pleased with that. As we look at the dollar, pretty much unchanged. Currencies aren't going anywhere. The Mexican peso is at one point. There was a big write-up in Bloomberg as to why the peso keeps railing, and it has to do, of course, with the tariff breaks that they get from the United States still under the deal between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. And they stay very quiet, which is the good thing. You know, Ms. Scheinbaum doesn't argue like Mr. Carney does with President Trump, and they have benefited from that. You know, I'm not saying that she should be quiet or shouldn't. It's just how it is. We will get economic news in the morning. The National Association of Realtors, their pending home sales will come out for November, and that'll be at 9. At 9:30, we will get the Dallas Federal Reserve Bank, their monthly regional manufacturing outlook, and we'll get the EIA natural gas storage report at 9:30 in the morning. We normally don't get it on a Monday. We get it on a Thursday, but with the Christmas holiday, it has been delayed. So let's go right to the chart action and see what's happening. If you were to close here, you're at an all-time high close in the S&P. You're up for the month 120 points. Now, that's for the month. That's a monthly chart. So let's go to a weekly chart. And on a weekly chart, you're up 0.75. The other high the market had was right here at 69.7925. And you're basically right there now. So just to give you an idea, you're at the highs of the market. If we put on a straight bar chart, you can see that the market is now clearing this zone, 69.5375. So I don't know how the market will finish the year out, but you are certainly in the Santa Claus time frame by every stretch of the imagination, and we'll see if it can follow through. The important thing is it'll go down in history that already you've made the higher highs. So you can't get away from that. I've had people write, oh, where's that Santa rally? If you don't see it, there's something not right with your eyesight. Go to your optician. Higher highs, higher lows all the way through on both sides, still going strong in the market. The market fell back one time to the 18-day average. As it was doing that, I told you that'll be the test for the Santa rally, and it turned out to be a successful test. And as you can see, you're coming up to the Bollinger Band. So in the 70-20 area, a new high for the move. Expect some resistance. That's probably the best thing to say. That doesn't mean I'm saying a top. I said expect some resistance to show up. When you look at the slow stochastics, you are overbought. You're not embedded. If you take a look at where you finished, just watch right here when I depressed the number from last week. Both numbers were not over 80. They're trying to do it this week, but you have to have 3 in a week to embed. So it's an overbought market. And again, I'm saying that the 70-20 area is a resistance zone. In the Dow Jones, the market is, what about it in terms of embedding? Again, look on that left. Week 1 was last week, not the week before. Week 1 was last week. This might be week 2. You're trading at the upper band. This market has a strong tendency to pay attention to that band. It can push on it and push it higher, which is what it's doing right now. So I still like what I am basically seeing. In the Nasdaq, again, we had a test on breaks of the 18-week average of closes, which it's held. Now, the last rally high in the market was 25,870.75. Look up right here as I'm going to depress this. There's 26,339, and here's the most recent high, 25,870.75. And we just went through it. So you're actually going to turn these arrows. They'll be pointing up from here, looking for the 2631 level to be in the area 26, 312.96, 326, 313.5. That'll be your next resistance zone, the upper band. The Russell's taken off too, went up to the upper Bollinger Band, is overbought. So we have a common theme. All of the stock indices on weekly charts are overbought. That's not necessarily the case on the daily, but we'll cover that in the morning. In the DAX, you have higher lows, higher highs, and as you can see, the market going straight on up here. Still like what I'm seeing there. I began covering, in fact, the emerging markets in my Spider ETF market because I think that's going to be where a play comes. So in the DAX, you fell from this high, and this is the way to look at it, from 45.80, and that was done on October 3rd, made your break low on November 21st, and have now come back through these highs, in fact, going up for higher highs at this point. In the 30-year bond, as the market goes down, interest rates actually go up. It's an inversion market. Same in the 10-year. So while the daily charts have been fighting a battle at the 18-day average of closes, the weekly are still staying very much in the bear camp at this point in time. And you can see that going on right through here. The euro trying to get itself going again to the upside on the weekly. It's got to clear 182.10 to move the arrow to the up right here, giving us an objective at least of another resistance at 118.52. The Canadian dollar is not being left behind. It too is rallying against the dollar, up again tonight, as you can see. The Japanese yen, well, trying to get a little bit of a rally. The problem for the yen is people aren't believing the bank. And they believe that the bank and its statement still sounded very dovish, and that is the problem. So as the market drops, what happens is they come out the bank and they threaten intervention. It gives the market a bump, and then it seems to slip back until the intervention is done or the bank is challenged. In Bitcoin, I just don't see anything positive on a weekly chart. Lower highs, lower lows. I guess you could say that the good news is the market is continuing to hold the challenge of the 100-week average of closes, which it's been doing since back here. And that's the week of November 21st, over a month ago. So that has gone on. But is that reason to be a buyer? Not from what I'm seeing on that chart. Then we look at Brent versus WTI crude, and the difference is $1.07. That's not very much, as you can imagine. And in the Brent tonight, we are up about 40 cents. Don't know what the market's going to make out of the Zelensky, Trump, Putin talks that are going on right now. We know that Putin and Trump talked, and we know that Zelensky's at the White House today, but we don't know the details as to where things are at, and that's going to be where it all comes down to. Still bearish, though, on all of these. They still have lower highs, lower lows. Admittedly, they're oversold, not embedded on any of them. Still coming down in the heating oil market. Didn't even get much of a bid off those winter storms hitting the Northeast. 70 points. Okay, you're too oversold to try the short side. The market just seems to have fallen straight out of bed. Want you to remember, if you'd like to get any of our free offerings, just move your cursor up to the top in here or move it over here so you're watching on YouTube. And you can even go to iraepstein.com. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. I will catch up with you all in the other videos tonight. And of course, first thing in the morning. And for my subscribers, it should be a very exciting morning trade. Take care.